Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it.
And what is the use of a book,
thought Alice,
without pictures or conversation?
So she was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the hot day was making her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies. A white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself,
oh dear, I shall be late."
When she thought it over afterwards, it occurred to her that she ought to have wondered at this, but at the time it all seemed quite natural. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it. And burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it, and fortunately was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the head. In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way, and then dipped suddenly down. So suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down a very deep well. Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next. First she tried to look down and make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. She took down a jar from one of the shelves as she passed. It was labeled, but to her great disappointment, it was empty. She did not like to drop the jar for fear of killing somebody, so managed to put it into one of the cupboards as she fell past it.
Well,
thought Alice to herself,
after such a fall as this, I shall think nothing of tumbling downstairs. How brave will all think me at home. Why, I wouldn't say anything about it, even if I fell off the top of the house.
Which was very likely true. Down, down, down.
I wonder how many miles I've fallen by this time,
she said.
I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see, that would be 4,000 miles down, I think.
For you see, Alice had learned several things of this sort in her lessons in the schoolroom, and though this was not a very good opportunity for showing off her knowledge, as there was no one to listen to her, still, it was good practice to say it over.
Yes, that's about the right distance. But then I wonder what latitude or longitude I've got to.
Alice had no idea what latitude was, or longitude either, but thought they were nice, grand words to say. Presently she
I wonder if I shall fall right through the earth. How funny it'll seem to come out among the people that walk with their heads downward. The antipathies, I think.
She was rather glad there was no one listening this time, as it didn't sound at all the right word.
But I shall have to ask them what the name of the country is, you know. Please, ma'am, is this New Zealand or Australia?
And she tried to curtsy as she spoke. Fancy curtsying as you're falling through the air. Do you think you could manage it?
And what an ignorant little girl shall think me for asking. No, it'll never do to ask. Perhaps I shall see it written up somewhere.
Down, down. There was nothing else to do, so
Dinah will miss me very much tonight, I should think.
Dinah was the cat.
I hope the remember her saucer of milk at tea time. Dinah, my dear, I wish you were down here with me. There are no mice in the air, I'm afraid, but you might catch a bat, and that's very like a mouse, you know. But you cats eat bats, I wonder.
And here Alice began to get rather sleepy, and went on saying to herself in a dreamy sort of way,
You cats eat bats. You cats eat bats?
well, you see, as she couldn't answer either question, it didn't much matter which way she put it. She felt that she was dozing off, and had just begun to dream that she was walking hand in hand with Dinah, and saying to her very earnestly,
Now, Dinah, tell me the truth. Did you ever eat a bat?
when suddenly thump, thump, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves on the floor. Alice was not a bit hurt, and she jumped up onto her feet in a moment. She looked up, but it was all dark overhead. Before her was another long passage, and the white rabbit was still in sight, hurrying down it. There was not a moment to be lost. Away went Alice like the wind, and was just in time to hear it say as it turned a corner,
Oh, my ears and whiskers! How late it's getting!
She was close behind it when she turned the corner, but the rabbit was no longer to be seen. She found herself in a long, low hall, which was lit up by a row of lamps hanging from the roof. There were doors all round the hall, but they were all locked, and when Alice had been all the way down one side and up the other, trying every door, she looked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever to get out again. Suddenly she came upon a little three-legged table, all made of solid glass. There was nothing on it except a tiny golden key, and Alice's first thought was that it might belong to one of the doors of the hall. Either the locks were too large or the key was too small, but at any rate it would not open any of them. However, on the second time round, she came upon a low curtain she had not noticed before, and behind it was a little door, about 15 inches high. She tried the little golden key in the lock, and to her great delight, it fitted. Alice opened the door and found that it led into a small passage, not much larger than a rat. She knelt down and looked along the passage into the loveliest garden you ever saw. How she longed to get out of that dark hall, and wander about among those beds of bright flowers and those cool fountains. But she could not even
And even if my head would go through,
thought for Alice.
it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could show up like a telescope. I think I could if I only know how.
For you see, so many out-of-the-way things had happened lately that Alice had begun to think that very few things indeed were really impossible. There seemed to be no use in waiting by the little door, so she went back to the table, half hoping she might find another key on it, or at any rate a book of rules for shutting people up like telescopes. This time she found a little
Which
book,
certainly was not here before.
said Alice, and round the neck of the bottle was a paper label with the words, "Drink Me," beautifully printed on it in large letters. It was all very well to say, "Drink me," but the wise little Alice,
No, I'll look first,
she said,
and see whether it's marked poison or not.